Hello and welcome to this HHQI webinar. For this particular webinar, we're going to discuss the HHQI data access, how to access the reports and how to access the Home Health Cardiovascular Data Registry. If you're looking for information on how to interpret any of the HHQI data reports or the registry itself, all of that information can be found on separate webinars located in the same place where you found this one. So we'll go ahead and get started and talk about the topics that we'll cover in this particular webinar. We're looking at where to find the data access portal, how to register and log in for the secured access to your reports, becoming the HHQI data administrator for your agency, approving others' access, and then finally we'll just touch on how to retrieve your user information, such as your username or password in case you've forgotten it. So to start with, you go to the HHQI website, which is www.homehealthquality.org. And once you're here, as you'll see on this main site, on the blue toolbar going across the top, if you click on the word data, that will take you into the data portal. But while we're on this page, I'd like to take a second and point out the login and registration links that you'll find on this page. These are to log in and register in order to access the general campaign, where you'll find all the free evidence-based tools and resources, such as the best practice intervention packages, and all of the different webinars and tools that you can for patients and clinicians. But that login and registration have absolutely nothing to do with data. And I'd like to point this out because it does tend to confuse a few people. So you have two unique login and registration, one for general, which are circled on the screen for general access, and then one for data. So we'll go ahead and click the data portal, and this will take you into this page, which is your data portal, and you will see this is a different login and registration. So this is your data account, and it is secure. These reports do not contain PHI, but we treat them similar as you do to PHI. So go ahead and click the word register, and that will take you into the registration page. Now, before we go there, though, I'd like to just take a moment and point out the data report resources on the right-hand side. This is where you'll find the different webinars I mentioned, and this webinar is located in that same place as well. You'll also find the data access FAQs. But if all else fails and you have questions that you can't find in any of these resources, don't hesitate to call us or contact us on the the left-hand side at hhqi@wvmi.org. Now, that final green box that came up in the center of the screen is talking about Data Access Plus. For every agency that you may have or you may want the data reports, you will need to create a unique account for that. So you will create a user account for every single agency you wish to access the data. If you're only one agency, no big deal. You have one account for yourself, and that's fine. But let's say you're a regional director or a regional manager or anyone who wants to work with multiple agencies. Then you would need to create, if you have 5 agencies you're working with and 6 branches, that means you would create 11 accounts. And you would log in to all 11 accounts on a monthly basis to access these individual reports. For that reason, and being so labor intensive, if you are accessing more than 10 agencies per month, let us know. We have something called Data Access Plus, not a process in place to where we can, once you have approval, we can provide your data reports to you in an easier process. So just contact us. As you can see, the link is there in the center at hhqi@wvmi.org, and we'll be glad to walk you through this process. All right, so back to registration. The number of people per agency who can create an individual account is unlimited. So when it comes to registration, encourage everybody that you want to have access to these reports to create their own unique user account. Everyone will go through this first process, which is click registration or register, and it will take you to the registration page. The initial question is asking for your CCN or CMS provider number. Now, for our purposes today, we'll talk about a fictitious agency, which has a CCN of 99999. And as you can see at the bottom, ACH sample agency is the name of our fictitious agency. Your agency name will populate here. Now, one thing about agency name If there is a typo in the spelling of your name, or if it's not the way you want it to be spelled, it's correct agency, but may have abbreviated words and such. Although we can appreciate the issue, we at HHQI have no power to change that. That comes from CMS, and CMS gets it from your state surveyor. So if there is an issue with the spelling of your agency name, you'll want to contact your state surveyor so that they can make the changes and submit it onto CMS. And then CMS then will send it to us, and you will see it reflected in this space. Usually it takes about 2 months. So once you've confirmed that this is your agency name, you'll want to click here to continue your registration. It's a very tiny blue link right below your agency name. Once you click there, it'll take you into the contact information. Very simple, just fill it out. Username is going to be fairly simple, but password is a little touchy. Because of the number of users of this system and the fact that the passwords cannot be similar, it takes most people 2 to 3 attempts in order to create a password that the system likes. So be easy on yourself. Expect to take a few attempts to get a password that it accepts, and then you'll be ready to move on. The alternate contact information you do not need to fill out. Click the word Submit in the bottom left corner, and it will take you to this page. And it will say, thank you for registering. There's no need to re-register. Your account has been created. Now, the way the data access system works is that one person per agency must be a data administrator. The data administrator for your agency doesn't have to be the administrator of the agency. It just needs to be someone at the agency who will take the responsibility of approving and denying all others access to these reports. So it's going to be someone who will not just go in and approve everybody that tries to get into your reports. This person needs to be selective and will grant the approval. Everyone else is a general user. We do not approve anyone to access these reports. What it does require for the person to be the administrator of this account is a piece of data, or what we call a security key, but it is a piece of data from your CASPR report. We'll get to that in just a minute. So in our fictitious agency, this screen has popped up because no one is the administrator, and it's stating that you have registered for an account. If you'd like to be the administrator, fine, but if not, you're going to be waiting until somebody becomes the administrator for this account. So if you are authorized and willing to serve as my agency's account administrator, click the Yes box. If not, you click No. Nothing's going to happen. You're not breaking anything, but you also will not progress any further into accessing the reports until someone approves your account. So let's say you're going to be the administrator, and you click Yes, I'm authorized and I'm willing to serve in this role. You click Yes, and you scroll a little further down on the screen, and you will see this. You'll see that you notice the Yes box is now at the top of the screen. So this is a little further down, and you will see the guidelines in order to obtain this one piece of data from CASPR. Remember, your CASPR computer or your CASPR reports are found on, I believe it's now called a Verizon computer. It's the one computer in your agency for which your agency transmits your OASIS information to CMS. If you have a vendor and you no longer have access to your CASPR reports or to your Verizon computer, the one computer in the agency, that's not a problem. You can copy and paste the instructions that, as you see here, they're listed 1 to 10, and send that to your vendor. But one word of note, this is an older screenshot, and those instructions change every year. So you'll want to copy it off of your actual computer screen. Just right-click, and you can copy it, put it into an email, and ask your vendor to give you this piece of data. Vendors have been doing this for 5 years. It's not a problem. It may take a day or so to get it back from them, or they may be able to provide it to you within the hour. Once you receive that piece of information, you will log back into this account. You don't need to create a new one because you've already created an account to get to this stage, and then you'll always be brought back to this same screen. Yes, I am authorized to serve, and then you'll enter that piece of data under eligible cases. Then click the word Verify. If you enter the data the first time and you get a pop-up message that says it doesn't match the security key, we ask that you try it a second time just to remove that element of potential typos. If you do it a second time and it says it does not match, stop. There's no reason to continue on. It won't match. In that case, you'll need to contact us at HHQI and we'll be able to give you the next steps from there. So once you click verify, you'll get a pop-up message at the bottom here that says you have been verified. You may need to log out and back in again for your verification to take effect. That really only happens to about 2 to 5% of the agencies, but we went ahead and put it there because it's very confusing if you happen to be one of those agencies. In most cases, you'll just need to click the hyperlink right here at the bottom of that sentence where it says click here to continue, and it will take you to your report. Once you enter into your report, you'll see a screen that looks similar to this. Now, I've opened up the drop-down menu so that you can see the variety of reports that will be available to you. Highlight whichever report you're interested in and click the word Get Report, and it will open up that particular report for your agency. Do remember, for every agency's report you wish to receive or to obtain or access, you need to have a unique account. So each of your user accounts in data access are tied to a specific CCN or a specific provider number. All right, so now you've selected the report that you're interested in and you can progress from there. Well, if you click on the View Report, this will be the screen as an example. I pulled open the ACH reports. And you'll see the screen. It'll look very similar to this. Click on View Report, and that will actually open the report itself. Now, if you are the administrator, your reports will look no different from anyone else's. Everyone sees the exact same report. But, as I mentioned, the role of the administrator is to approve everyone else's access to view the report. So approving others' access. If you're the administrator, you log in with your administrator account, and this time you go to the brown toolbar, and you'll hover over the Member/Report tab, and you'll see the word Approval. Click on the word Approval, and it will take you to this screen. You'll see there's 2 columns. You have Unapproved and Approved. Every single person is automatically put in the unapproved column. Let's say Mr. John Doe. You want to approve this person. You know John Doe, and you know that this person is someone you want accessing your raw data. Highlight John Doe's name, click the Approved button in the center, and then John Doe his name will move over to the approved column. Once you do that, click Finalized Approval, but do understand that the second you click Finalized Approval, John Doe will have immediate access to your report. In most situations, that's exactly what you want, but do be careful of who you approve, because you hold all the power. We do not hold the power. Your approval process is very simple, but just know who you're approving. All right, let's say you've forgotten your username or password. In this case, if you click on the login screen, again, we're in the data portal. Remember, this is all about data. Click Login. It takes you to the login screen. Normally, this is where you would just put your username and password, click Login, and you would go to your report. But in this case, you've forgotten one or the other. Click the I have forgotten my username or password link at the bottom of the login box, and it will take you to this screen. Now, you have 2 options. If you know your username, you can enter your email and your username, click Submit, and you will receive a temporary password via the email. But if you don't know your username, you can click the box that says, I don't know my username, and it will take you to another screen that allows you to request a new username. Once you get your username, then you can come back to the screen and enter your email and username again. I know, it sounds very tedious, but with the volume of usernames and passwords that we all have in this day and age, this will probably happen occasionally, especially if you're only getting in here once a month. So this is available to you. If you click that you request a new password or a new username, it should come to your email. Depending on the volume and thickness of your firewalls, it should come probably within, say, 2 to 3 minutes at the very, very maximum. If you haven't received it, check your trash or junk folders. And again, If it's not in there, contact us. The reason being is we find this more often than not. The email that you entered originally may not be the same one you currently have access to. Again, the system has been around for 5 years. Also, there may have been a typo when you entered the email originally during the registration process. So whatever the case is, just let us know. We'll be glad to help you with that. We want you to have access to your data. Access to your data is going to help with your quality improvement. So we'll help you gain access with whatever we can do. Click the word submit and all of this will come to you. And with that, we'll conclude this webinar, and I'd like to thank you for your time. Do contact us at www.homehealthquality.org if you have any questions. Thank you.